Hey, Lizzie. Just so you know, you're muted right now.
Yes, I did not start talking until I drop the code. Where's the code? Where's the code? It is on GitHub. And there is quite a bit of code in the Slack channel as well. Here is the workshop. I will also put it in Slack. Yes, you will need to put in your credit card info as well, even with the promo code, but you should check a box that says something like, don't charge me, and you will not be charged. I do believe there's a workaround, but it depends on the type of account you have. Dropping the code on Slack. There's no other questions. I think that's it, but I will see you on Slack. Feel free to send questions there. I can also do resume reviews, LinkedIn reviews. Yes, DM resumes, LinkedIn profiles. Thank you. PogChamps, Arthur. Pog. Thank you all. Thank you.